Hey, what's going on, guys? We are back with Counter Cause, back with Mark Owens, Brett Edwards, and our guest today is Josh Rangel. Josh is a local business owner, family man, ex-Texas Tech football player.
Red Raider.
Sort of a big deal.
I mean, what position did you play?
Strong safety. It was a strong safety.
Okay. So we were kind of talking about before the show, lifestyle and kind of lifestyle changes. You have obviously played football in college, obviously kind of had a strong start from the beginning. But for maybe people who haven't had as much success early on with, fitness, health, etc., what kind of advice would you give to somebody trying to get started right now so that they can look like Josh?
Well, that's a great question because I have to go back to my journey. So yes, I did play football and was an athlete all the way through college. But then once I got done playing, I found out how comfortable it was to sit on the couch.
Yeah.
And how great fast food was and how good it was.
You need to play football to know
I know.
that.
Then I didn't tailgate in college. So then I enjoyed my tailgating on the weekends and watching Texas Tech play or whoever else was playing in college football. So I went from 220 pounds, like solid playing, to 240 pounds, not solid. Right. And so then I went through this period where I realized how tired I was, how much my joints were hurting. I had just no energy, no focus. But I thought that was just part of like life, right? Because I was working a lot of hours. Yeah, I was working in a career that put a lot of hours in, and just thought that's what you do. You get older, you get bigger, and whatnot. And I was still working out 6 days a week. So I want to throw that in there too, because I came to a point where like, well, I need to lose weight. Like I have to. I can't. My wife was pregnant, and last thing I want to do was be that dad that couldn't chase my kids around. And so that was the first thing. I had a pretty big why. So if someone wanted to start, I was like, what's the really reason you want to get started?
That's the biggest thing is the why.
Yeah.
If you don't have the why, then you don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people think, well, I just want to feel better. Well, that's not typically what it is. Like that might last for a few weeks, but when it's just like, I just want to feel better, you're so used to living the way you are right now. So when it gets hard along your journey, you're just gonna go, well, I survived, so I might as well just stop what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I honestly saw my dad in the hospital when I was 5 years old and all wired up, and it was just something to do with his heart. And I just remember thinking, I don't want to put my kid in a position where they have to watch me in that position. Yeah. So I'm gonna take control of what I can control and go after my health. So there was a 6-year journey in there where I was trying to lose weight. I was trying to get healthy, right? And so just because I was an ex-Division I athlete, right, whatever that means, didn't mean I know exactly what to do. Like I was being told what to do through college. And then once you're done, there's no accountability. There's no one pushing you to get to the gym. There's no one feeding you meals, right? And so all that's lost. Now I had to figure this out myself. And so this 6-year journey consisted of me doing triathlons. So I did a lot of triathlons, absolutely loved it. Started running, and then I decided my last ditch effort was to run for a half marathon. And I hate running. So I'm like, well, if I run a half marathon and I train, like I've always been like a pretty competitive person, obviously. And so I said, I'm going to go for under 2-hour half marathon. And for sure, the training that I have to do for that would help me lose weight. Well, I lost 2 pounds, ran a sub 2-hour half marathon at 200, I think at that time, 32 pounds or something. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know what needs to change. And that's when I ran into someone that started talking to me what nutrition really looks like.
So that was like the missing link, the nutrition aspect of it?
I was 100%.
Because you were working out every day, you said still?
Yeah. So I was 5-6 days a week in the gym, still lifting heavy. And so like, another thing, I think we have to conquer our things in our head, right? So I used to tell myself when I couldn't lose the weight, I must be big bone. I'm an ex-athlete.
Yeah, right.
I can't do it. This isn't my body type. All these lies that I was telling myself, which, right, how you speak to yourself is going to come out of who you are.
Yeah.
So telling yourself lies, not being motivated and being discouraged, but then also putting your time maybe into your career and, not being motivated. So like, what did that look like? You said that you were still working out, but then you found the nutrition link. Was it a calorie in, calorie out? Did you find the deficit? Like, tell us that.
Yeah, so it's a great question. So it was a journey. At first, it was I would wake up. My breakfast consisted of a Starbucks stop with a blueberry muffin, and I thought that blueberries were healthy. Right? I wasn't eating a lot of calories in my head. I wasn't tracking. Right. So one thing I really encourage my customers to do is start tracking what they're eating, because I think you realize either you're taking in way more calories than you really think you are, or you're not taking enough calories. And you got to have an understanding of where you're at before we start the journey of calorie deficit, right?
Yep.
And so it was that, or I would do a healthy breakfast, like a healthy cereal breakfast, right? Because the cereal box said healthy, right?
Yeah.
And so it has to be healthy for you and give
Whole
you all the
grains
nutrition.
on it, man.
That's right. It's whole grains.
It's good for you.
It's less sugar or whatever it is. And then my other go-to breakfast was a yogurt, which isn't all that bad. It had protein source, but there's just not a lot of nutritional value behind all that.
Yeah.
And so once I started educating myself, so one major piece of what we do and what I do with customers is educating them like what is a good solid breakfast or what that really looks like and what good solid nutrition is. And for me, I came across and I found a very low calorie, high nutritional value breakfast that I could start doing every single day. And that goes into a lot of people I work with, right? Where I was 50, 60 hours a week at a job, right? Driving, commuting on top of that. Then you have, right, your husband obligations. My kid was on the way. So, all those responsibilities start taking up time. I didn't care about doing a fitness show or a competition. I didn't care. I didn't have the time to meal prep. I wasn't going to sit in the kitchen for an hour or 2 hours to meal prep because I don't like cooking. That's just not me.
Yeah,
that's
tough.
So I had to find simpler solutions for me that allowed me to give my body what it needs around such a busy schedule. And so education, big part of that. And so building the discipline of getting away from, I loved my blueberry and coffee, my white chocolate mocha from Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. That was really good. But did I love that more, or did I love the opportunity of playing with my child in the long term? Right. And so small sacrifices outweighing the cost. So I changed my breakfast up. I started really building a discipline. The other thing I was told is like, learn how to start eating every 3 hours with a protein source, right? So it wasn't like a whole bunch of education thrown at me. Like they didn't get into the details. They just gave me the concepts. And so I think that's really important, going back to your question, is you have to understand the concepts of what a good breakfast looks like, and then a concept of what does it mean to eat every 3 hours, or a good protein source, or drinking half your weight in water every single day in ounces. Once you start understanding those concepts, you don't have to be perfect at it.
Yeah.
It's a matter of now all you need to do is focus on building the disciplines, right, at a certain level to incorporate that.
So once you start doing that, and once you start eating better, eating healthier, getting more disciplined, what did the journey look like after that? How long until you started seeing the results that you were happy with?
Okay, so my results aren't typical, but it is what's possible. And so you got to understand, right? I'm a past athlete, so I worked out all the time. I was still currently working out. And so the minute I started changing my nutrition, putting myself in a healthy calorie deficit, getting the right amount of protein, all that, my body changed really quickly. So I lost 27 pounds in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And so what that did, though, was give me a stronger belief of like, remember, all I was doing was these basic concepts, feeling my body differently. And it was like my body just said, finally, you're feeding me right.
So talk a little bit about that, just in terms of like what that diet looked like. Was it like high protein, low carbs? Was it something similar to keto maybe?
No, it was very high protein. Wasn't afraid of the carbs.
Okay.
What is a good protein source for you? So when you say a good protein source every 3 hours, what do you recommend?
So what I do for protein sources is I teach lighter colored meat better for you. Right.
Okay, interesting.
So turkey, chicken, pork chops. I do a lot of meat. I love meat. Like, so good. But if you go darker colored meat, steak, you're getting high into like different types of things your body doesn't need. Now, I'm a person too where I love my steak, right? So moderation and everything. So protein sources. I also there's like certain protein bars I really enjoy for the go. I like a lot of different types of nuts. I do a lot of yogurts for my snacks now with maybe some granola in it. I also use protein shakes. I use a lot of protein shakes, meal replacement shakes that I absolutely love.
Yeah, I found that because when you're like a working, dad and you're out there and you're commuting and all that, like it's easy to supplement your protein with some type of a protein.
Like a bar.
Yeah, like a healthy
shake
bar
or something.
shake.
Yeah.
Because I think it was once I heard if you could get 75% of your protein from like real food, and then you can supplement the rest with like a couple of shakes or collagen or something like that, then it stays realistic. Because I think that what the average person, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a corporate CEO, it's easy for us to be able to do little victories, right? So the physique changes in the kitchen, not the gym. What do you suggest for your clients whenever they come in and they have a crazy schedule and it's like, look, and it's easy for people to get discouraged, right? Like they give it like 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and then they get discouraged and they fall off. But it's a lot simpler than what they think. So what do you recommend to the people who are just like want to start out to lose some weight?
Right. So based on the business I'm in and based on how I got my results, I really love our meal replacement shakes. And so there's some meal replacement shakes out there that are really good for you, especially because I'm working with busy parents who are waking up at 6 a.m, getting their kids ready out the door. And so if you have a good meal replacement shake that gives your body the essential vitamins and minerals it needs, as well as the protein, as well as the healthy carbs, like everyone's afraid of carbs, your body is going to respond differently. And so we have simple solutions that taste incredible. And so I teach them shake, snack, colorful meal. Now, a lot of people like,
interesting.
Yeah. And so a lot of people, so simple concept,
Yeah.
right? And all now we do as we walk with them on their journeys, we help them tweak what a healthier snack looks like. They're like, Josh, I did my snack. I'm like, great. What'd you do? I stopped at McDonald's. Instead of doing the sausage McMuffin, I got the turkey inside. I'm like, great, but a little greasy in there, right?
Yeah.
That's a
And the
good
hash
start.
brown probably isn't the best option, but great way building that discipline. So now I can work with them and tweak. Okay, let's, instead of doing McDonald's, because you're on the road, maybe we stop at this place instead and go for this option. Like Starbucks has a great little snack pack thing. That's perfectly fine, right?
You know, what I've done is for a good snack is beef jerky,
Oh yeah.
like a
Love
sugar-free beef jerky.
Beef
Or
stick even.
like a lot of gas stations will have the like hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah,
You know, that
absolutely.
you can grab the packaged hard-boiled eggs. Like I've done that on the road.
Yep.
But okay, so yeah, talk us through the diet, because that sounds pretty easy to follow. Which
Yeah.
is shake.
Shake, snack, colorful meal. Now, based on your goals, right? There's some people that don't need the second shake. And that's one of the questions they get asked all the time. Do you do a lot of shakes? Like, I can't just drink shakes all day. I'm like, trust me, I'm 215 pounds right now. I'm getting over about 190 grams of protein, 220 grams of carbs. Like, I'm not doing shakes all day.
How
And is
tall
this
are
kind
you?
of
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2",
6'2", 219,
215 right now.
215.
Yeah.
And is this geared toward more of like a weight loss idea, or is it like weight maintenance kind of thing? What's
So-
the idea behind it?
A healthy, active lifestyle.
Healthy,
So-
active lifestyle.
Yeah. So when a customer comes to me and talks to me, or anybody in that street, like, hey, I want to lose X amount of weight, or this is my goal. My first thing I'm clear with them about is like, I'm not trying to work with you for the next month for you to get a result to only put it back on or lose it in 2 months or 3 months.
Right.
I want to build people that have a healthy, active lifestyle for long term. So whatever you start today, and it may change, but I want to help you build the discipline. So when you're 20 years down the road, you're still living this healthy, active lifestyle in a better condition you are right now.
Do you
Yeah.
incorporate cheat meals?
Absolutely. Like absolutely. So like, again, I'm not working with people who want to be fitness competitors, right? They're not doing these body competition shows. I'm working for people who want to be able to walk when they're 50, 60, and 70 years old.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'm also a person that loves freedom in my life. And so I'm going to enjoy a good meal with my wife or my friends when they come over. Like we have these game nights, and my friends will tell you, as healthy as I look, I don't eat as healthy as they think I should be eating to look this way. But the difference is I've incorporated enough discipline in my nutrition plan where Monday through Friday and even Saturday, and even when I have those big meals, the rest of my day isn't thrown off. And so 90%, 95% of the week looks fine, right? Then you have those cheat meals, and I go big on those cheat meals. It's not like I'm even moderating those.
For you, what's like a cheat meal?
Where's your favorite restaurant?
Birthday cake.
Birthday cake, ice cream.
Plate of donuts.
No, I think when I incorporate, like when I'm thinking about my cheat meals, it's like me going to Texas Roadhouse and ordering whatever I want and drinking whatever I want.
Okay.
Right. Or having games over for game night and we order pizza for the kids. I don't mind eating all the pizza I want, or chips and salsa or queso that's on the table. I'm not worried about that stuff. Because you understand too, like one of the things I see when people start eating healthy, they start going to the restroom a lot more, which is a healthier option. Like, I can't do this, Josh. Like, I'm using the restroom a lot more. What's going on? I'm like, it's your body's finally responding the way you need it to, and it's not used to the healthy food.
Yeah.
As I'm the opposite now, right? And so now when you start living a healthy, active lifestyle, your body gets used to the nutrition. Your body starts adapting the way it needs to. Like, you're feeding your body how it's designed. And when you put that cheat meal, whatever it is, you enjoy it, but it's going to come out quicker now, right?
Yeah.
And so you can get right back on track, and it's not going to hurt you long term. The problem is, I warn people early on. I tell them, when you start your journey, I want you to make a conscious decision that you go as long and as far as you can before you have any type of cheat meal, because it's like a little speed bumps, right? So you might gain momentum, and then you hit a speed bump, what's going to slow you back down?
So what do you recommend? Like 4 weeks, 6 weeks?
I tell them so everyone's different. And
Yeah.
I'm an encourager by nature.
Sure.
And so I'm telling them, I just want I want to put their vision as far down the road as possible, because I'm going to be there when they pick it up. I know it's going to slip, right?
Yeah.
To go from 0 to 100 is not typical, but there's people out there that can like automatically turn off and say no to their friends when they want to go out. And there's other people who are like, I know I've been good 3 days, Josh, but my daughter wants to go to McDonald's. I'm going to eat with her. Yeah. Right. I'm like, okay, hey, no problem. Just understand. Let's limit what you used to eat at McDonald's. Right. I don't even care if you have a cheeseburger, just take away the fries. Like, let's learn how to cut back calories. And instead of that Coke, have the water. Right. Like, let's start those small.
What's like a good rule of thumb? Like if you go until you don't crave it and then have a cheat meal, or like, I know everybody's different, but like.
So I would say this: if you're starting your journey, and then you don't have no background, you're not working out, you're not doing anything, like, let's not cheat for the first 30 days. Like, I want to give your body, I want to give your body a chance to get all the momentum it can before you cheat, right? If you're able to say no to whatever that is for 30 days, you're going to start developing a new habit, a new strength in your mentally.
Okay.
That's going to allow you to go a little bit further.
Okay.
And versus if you start off your health journey, well, every 2 days I'm going to cheat. Like, you're already giving your way an out, right? And you're never going
earn
to
it. Yeah, you want to be able to earn that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. You had talked a little bit about the protein aspect of this, and you'd said to kind of prioritize lighter meats over things like red meats. What's the reasoning behind that?
Just this, like, steaks will have higher in cholesterol and different things like that. It's
Gotcha.
but again, it's just like, I'm teaching basic information. Again, I'm working with this person who's like let themselves go for the last 10 to 20 years,
Sure.
and they just need some kind of information.
Like, it's kind of like this broad approach to it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I love steak. I'll eat steak all
I
day
know,
long.
I do too,
And
man. I eat steak so much.
actually, the more I read about, everything in moderation. There's so many different diets and fads and things out there. And when I first started this 12 years ago, I remember reading a study on the benefits of milk. Then I read another study, the same time frame, from a different type of science, that said don't drink milk because adults don't need milk.
Yeah.
Right? And so then at that point, I said, all it is to live a healthier, active lifestyle is building some simple disciplines that you can maintain for the rest of your life.
Right.
So can you walk us through, say you're a middle-aged guy, you got a corporate job, you've got kids, you've got sports on the weekends. What is an easy, digestible workout routine? Because people think that they have to kill it. They think that they have to work out 2 hours a day. They have to run. Automatically, they think, okay, I got to do cardio, so I got to go run on a treadmill for 30 minutes, which I hate, by the way. I'm not a runner.
So do I.
I don't like running. What I found that works for me, and everybody's different, right? What works for me is a slow, steady state cardio for a little bit longer stretch of time. Mm-hmm. So like at my house, I have my treadmill, or you can go to the gym, put your phone up or put the TV up, and I'll watch something, but I'll put it on an incline and I'll just walk for 30 minutes or 45 minutes fasted in the morning. But everybody's different. But what does it look like to get a little bit of that resistance training? Because it's not all gym, it's nutrition, right?
Yep.
That's the cornerstone.
Absolutely.
What does that look like?
The first thing is the nutrition part. And so personally, when I work with a client, if they're not willing to change their nutrition, they're not getting my time or energy. That's just key. Yeah. So what I tell them is, like, to get your body healthy so you can live longer is a nutritional aspect. To start shaping your body is the workouts. Now, when it comes to the workout side, I really encourage small steps again, right? Again, everyone's a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. Some people come with me with a strong workout background and they're able to get after it 3 to 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it is. But for your typical person, I'm like, hey, let's at least get 20 minutes cardio somehow, whatever that looks like. I don't even care. Like, if they need direct answers, I tell them, get on the treadmill or walk around your block, take your kids for a stroll, go to the park and play basketball with them. But then I want them to incorporate 3 days, at least 30 to 45 minutes of strength training. And so we can break that down a lot of different ways, whether they have a gym membership or if they're at the house or what that looks like, because building lean muscle mass is going to be a lot better for them long-term than any form of cardio. But I want to go back to your point, because that's a great point. A lot of people like overthink it at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And as we know in anything, like in our careers, in our marriages, like, I know more about being a husband today because I didn't quit after year 3 when it was hard. Does that make sense?
Yep, exactly.
And so now I know how to make certain adjustments and talk to my wife a little bit differently, or understanding and seeing those sides. The same thing with your health and fitness journey is, so many people overthink this. They get in there after 1 week and they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm so sore. And they quit. But like, you found out that what works for you cardio wise, it's opposite of mine. But how did you find that out? was only because you probably did it all, kept on trying different things, and then you found, oh, this works a little better for me.
Yeah.
Because you kept on going.
And then I realized too that like it really is calories in, calories out. If you want to lose weight or put on muscle, you either need to be in a surplus or you need to be in a deficit. And I started tracking my macros because you have to, it's easy to do that. But MyFitnessPal, and there's probably other
Oh, yeah. We use
apps out
MyFitnessPal too.
there.
That's a great one.
And then it was an easy gauge of, okay, I'm good. I've eaten enough protein and calories. I'm still in a deficit, so I can still lose some weight. And then naturally, it's like, let me get into motion. So, let me do 20 minutes a day or whatever. And I hated running because if you hate it, you're not going to do it.
No, exactly. And you're going to dread every second.
You're going to dread it. So I just did what I
point.
liked. And if I wanted to tweak it a little bit more, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I wanted to tweak it a little bit more, like I'm not dropping the weight that I want to per week, then I just lower my calorie deficit just a little bit more, and then, but I'm still working out. But what I was doing when I first got back into working out with a busy schedule was basically just like some push-ups and some crunches and some burpees. If you can do some type of pull-ups, cool. If not, I mean, you don't have to, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you could do something like that for 30 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day. And
Absolutely.
That'll kick your butt.
Absolutely.
Sure, yeah.
Well, so here's the beautiful part about this is how people grow, right? And so if you can just get off your couch and move for 10 minutes, that's better than the week before when you weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And then if you can get off the couch and move for 10 minutes and add 50 push-ups, I don't care if it takes you 5 sets to do that or 1 set, that's better than just walking.
Yeah.
And then you start falling in love with the process. And so I talk to my customers about action, mind, heart. So I work with a lot of people who are like, I hate working out, Josh. I'm like, hey, I understand you hate working out. Give me 2 days at the gym, right?
Make
10
it
minutes.
fun.
Yeah, let's find something fun. So they go to the gym, they start their nutrition, they get the 2 days a week, 20 minutes, and they come back the second or third week and they start seeing results.
Yep.
And what happens when you get results? Your mind and your heart start to change and you start falling in love with the process.
And then you get those compliments.
So like, wait, Josh said just 2 days a week. What if I add a third?
Yeah.
And what if I added, a little bit heavier strength training and a little different, more intensity on my cardio?
Sure.
And they start getting better results. And next thing you know, I can't tell you how many times you've seen someone go from, you've all seen it, right? Those people who are like out of shape and all of a sudden they're like fitness trainers 3 years down the line because they just fell in love with the process. And all that happened was they changed in action, right? They were willing to like bite the bullet, build a new discipline, get through that. Like, I don't like this attitude and do something. They started seeing results and their heart started to change and their mind started to change around that activity. And it's the same thing with nutrition. You have to get the people to the point where like, I understand you don't eat breakfast. It's because you haven't eaten breakfast for the last 10 years of your life. Your body's not used to it. But we have to change your mindset around that and start getting you some better breakfast. Fine, Josh, I'm going to give it 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, if they're consistent with it, they're going to start seeing results. They're going to see their energy fly up. They're going to might see some inches being lost and weight starting to come off.
Yeah.
And their mindset around not having breakfast is now, maybe I should start having breakfast. Right. And so that's what we work with. But I love that just the idea of like, you have to be in action and moving forward to figure out what that is. Because now I'm 11, 12 years down the line on this, and I have discipline equals freedom. So because I've been able to build disciplines and learn and educate myself over the last 12 years, I have more freedom than the person starting today.
Yeah.
Right. Like 100%. I can enjoy those nachos at a less conscious rate than you starting today. Understand you just blew your whole meal plan. Right.
Because you know how to bounce back from it too. I think that's like the main thing. I want to ask you about this. This is a little controversial, but I think it's kind of fun to talk about. So let's say somebody's coming to you and they're trying to lose, let's say like 100 pounds. Do you feel like there is a time and a place for something that could jumpstart that weight loss process? Something, let's say something like Ozempic, for example. Is there a time and a place for drugs like that within the confines of this routine?
Yes. And I say yes. I really think everyone should start. If you're not able to change your nutrition or change some of your habits and your discipline, regardless of what you use out there to help that, you're going to go back to your old ways.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like in a major health condition, and you're like about to like go down a really bad path, and that's going to help you at least get some weight off so you can start moving around a little more freely. Absolutely. The problem is there's so many people who don't need it. They're taking advantage of medications or shots or
Yeah, exactly.
surgeries just because of
because they have a little bit extra weight to kind of lose. And instead of getting up off the couch and going to do something, they're just going to do that.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
And so I think there's a place for it. I talk down about it more than I do talk up about it, because I just think people are lazy and they want the quick fix.
The thing about that is like when you do come off of it, if you don't have that discipline, like you were just saying, and you don't have that mindset, then you got to be careful, because it can come right back.
Yeah.
Dude,
Absolutely.
I'm really interested in seeing what happens like 10 years down the road from people who have been on this stuff this long.
Yep.
Like they've already said that, I mean, it can cause a lot of damage. I don't know exactly like what the damage is. We looked that up, Brett.
Yeah, one of the problems I would note about Ozempic and semaglutide in general is that it probably what they think is it burns equal amounts of fat as it does muscle.
Yes.
And so you're going to get a lot of these people who are sarcopenic or skinny fat. And and so what the body does is there's something inside of it that is pulling all of this fat and muscle out of it. And so what does it do? It starts to hold on and build visceral fat.
Sure.
And it clings to the organs. And that shit is extremely hard to
That's where it
get
becomes
rid
a
of.
problem over time, right? And that's what I want to see. Like, I mean, I've got several friends who have been using it very successfully in terms of weight loss, but I'm really curious, like what happens to them 10 years down the road? Are they going to get away clean with it? They very well may. And I hope that they do, honestly. But I feel like it's a little bit more complicated than that. Let's see, treatment with drugs like Ozempic, long-term commitment.
I just don't know if this stuff is.
We don't
so
have
new,
like the
we
data
don't
for
have-
it yet, right? Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the problems is there's not like randomized control trials for years, right? And say, okay, now this is safe. No, this is back with the big pharma.
Well,
We've got something. Let's release it. Let's make it
right.
work.
It actually works.
And then let's create a drug.
Make that money.
Oh, we go down that road if you want.
No.
Well, they have complications from Ozempic. Then let's go ahead and create a drug to fix that too.
You know, the thing about it is like the problem that I see is, okay, well, you have this new drug out that is really meant to help, pre-diabetic situations, right? But then you've got TRT, and you've got stuff that is beneficial and safe and has been around for decades and decades that can help people with hormones and joint pain and stuff that has been true and tried, but it's still looked at as taboo. And doctors can't really prescribe it freely. But then,
but that's also because there's an assault on masculinity in this world.
But then you have something like this that's new, trials and studies. Like we said, we have no idea what's going to look like 10 years from now.
Right. Boy, I lost 5 pounds doing it last week.
But completely green light. So why is it so that you have one body altering, hormone altering thing that is looked at as taboo and bad,
right?
And then you have this, and it's like, doctors are prescribing it like Tylenol.
They're really for it. Yeah, it's a really interesting thing. I mean, again, I genuinely hope everybody who I know who's on it does great and loses weight and feels better about themselves. I worry.
But have they been on it a year?
Yeah. I know a girl that's been on it about a year now and has lost over 100 pounds. Like amazing transformation, looks incredible, feels great. But man, I don't know.
This goes back to the discipline freedom situation, though.
Absolutely.
Because,
it does.
Once you get off of it, you're screwed.
Absolutely. And do you want to keep it going?
And I think that's where she is in like the journey now is like, hey, I've just gotten off this and I don't know what comes next and everything. So that's
shake, snack.
Drink half your weight in an ounce of water. So we actually been working with a few people like that too, and really been incorporating again more protein and exercise. Because here's what I've been reading lately is it is so much more important for you to have lean muscle mass as you age. Right? I'm not talking about 100%. Like jacked up, lifting, squatting 500 pounds. I'm talking about building lean muscle mass. So if all you're doing is these cheap ways to lose weight, you're not building the lean muscle mass. And so therefore, what I always go back to is you want to be that grandmother carrying your grandchild. And when you can't walk properly and you trip, you better be able to cover yourself and be like functional training, enough muscle mass to keep yourself from falling down or roll so you protect that child. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's a big issue. And obviously, you mentioned pharmaceutical. We can go down that road.
Experts estimate that some 18 to 33% of all older adults who have suffered hip fractures will die within a year.
And the reason I put that up is because this goes to lean muscle mass. 90% of the time, somebody stumbles who's old And what do? They reach to grab themselves, but to catch themselves, but they don't have enough lean muscle mass to hold themselves up. They break their hip. Odds are they're going to die in a year.
Can you look up, because this is interesting too, that goes with what you just said. It's important to have lean muscle mass as you get older. How much muscle tissue do you naturally lose as you age?
That's a great question.
Because I mean, it's kind of like we have to battle this, right? I think that's one thing that people don't really understand.
After age 30, you begin to lose as much as 3 to 5% per decade. Wow. Most men will lose about 30% of their muscle mass during their lifetimes. Dude, after age 30, that's...
Okay, so what does that? So what does that look like when you're 50 years old?
And what does that look like when you have...
How much weight is somebody...
Well, like the bigger question is, how important is 10% of your muscle mass?
So what would that look like numbers
it's
wise?
not like, hey, you bench 10% less. That's significant.
That's entire body.
10% of the whole body. Yeah.
So if you're 150 pounds of muscle and you lose 10% of that...
Well, I think I got a body scan once, and I think that 89 pounds of my 172 pounds were lean muscle mass.
Okay, so say 80 pounds of lean muscle, and you lose 10% of that.
That's 8 pounds of muscle.
That's 8 pounds of muscle. And dude, 8 pounds,
Wow.
if you think of it like this, if you put on 8 pounds of muscle, you would look like a completely different person. So if you lose 8 pounds of
100%.
muscle,
I know. Imagine
and what this isn't factoring in, I haven't read the study, but you have to factor in, okay, some of these individuals, alcohol consumption is probably over the top. And so that helps decrease muscle mass, not getting the proper nutrition, right? And so if you're going to lose that naturally, and then on top of that, you're adding things to your everyday nutritional habits that help you lose that faster.
Yeah.
So how much of that is actually more than 3 to 5%? That's the average, right?
yeah. So then you got to think, like you're thinking stress, sleep, nutrition, these things. Drinking, lifestyle. So I bet it can speed it up.
And then I don't know if you can pull it up, but there's a study I just recently read too, a couple of them that, like, so my wife's a nurse and you see it all the time. Someone goes to the hospital, if they're carrying 60 extra pounds of weight on them, their recovery time is a lot slower than someone that's actually in shape. Now, the same thing with a broken hip or a broken bone, your recovery process is a lot slower if you're carrying more weight or you're not as healthy versus someone that has lean muscle mass that's been working out. The recovery time is like night and day.
Yeah.
Like, look at these professional athletes. People are saying, well, it's because they have the best doctors. Absolutely. They have some care and treatment and things that they can do to get on the field faster. But remember, they got hurt being in great shape, which gives them options to do these other treatments because it's going to help.
Yeah.
Versus someone who's like not older, not like doesn't have the muscle mass, they get hurt, they break a bone. That hole's going to look a little different than the recovery process, right? And so all that plays into just a longer lifestyle. I want people to help start seeing and understanding.
We talk about a shake real quick. Let's back up. Because I mean, as a viewer, they're going to be like, what's in the shake? What kind of shake?
What's the secret shake?
So I don't know. I guess he's kind of, I do Herbalife. So
Herbalife?
And it's funny because I was a big skeptic for many years, right? So when I came in, I was eating food. And so when they said, do these shakes, I was like, there's no way I'm just going to do shakes because they're not going to fill me up. And so I started doing my research. They've been around for over 40 plus years now. They're in 90 plus countries. And you know how hard it is to get approved in America. Like, there's a lot of our foods here in this country that aren't approved in other countries.
There's a lot.
So once I understood, wait, they're getting approved in all these other countries, it has to be a pretty clean product. They must be doing something right. And I started looking at the science, the doctors behind it, and the money they spent. And then I had a taste, and it was really good. And so the first thing I noticed, though, was it filled me up for about 3.5 hours. Right. And so I wasn't typically drinking shakes in college and protein shakes. I would drink them and be hungry an hour or two or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And they didn't taste very good. So it tastes good. And then it filled me up. And so because of my results and with them, like my kids use them, my son used them during his, he did strength and conditioning all summer long, and he would wake up and have a shake to get him through the workout. And so they're very good for supplemental, right? To like quick meals. I use one for breakfast every single morning because, again, I'm not going to sit up there and cook. Like this morning is when I wake up at 4:40 every morning. I work out at 5. I'm done with my workout by 6. 6, I walk into my kitchen. I have my first shake. So my first shake has about 38 grams of protein in it. Has some BCAA, some
now,
glutamine.
is this whey protein or is it
whey
soy?
protein mixed with the soy isolate? So there's 2 of them I use that I mix together.
Okay.
And that's going to give me the BCAAs, the glutamine, plus 26 essential vitamin minerals. So that was like at 6 o'clock. Well, before I came here, 8:30 in the morning, I had some Premier pancakes, right? Mm-hmm. Protein pancakes with some carbs. I put some egg whites on top of it and a little bit of syrup. So there's my morning snack. Okay. So with that, I probably got close to 35 to 40 grams of protein, some extra carbs in it to like fill me energy-wise. Mm-hmm. And then after this, probably about 12 o'clock, either going to have I'll probably do a shake, so I'll be at the club. And then this afternoon, right, we're going to the games tonight. There's a Rockwall football game tonight, so I'm going to that.
Let's go.
But I'll have like maybe a solid roast beef sandwich with, I don't know, maybe an apple. I do a lot of apples and bananas. And then tonight for dinner, I don't even know yet.
When you say colorful meal, is that like the colors of like the fruits and vegetables,
fruits and
basically?
vegetables,
Okay, gotcha.
So we try to keep it simple, and then we define that as we go with them.
Let me ask you this too. So I've kind of always heard whey good, soy bad. What are your thoughts on this?
So great question. Another one where I see studies of one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
Ours is a soy isolate, so supposedly it's like minus the estrogen.
Okay.
But I'm more of a whey-based guy. Like whey sits on me. I see bigger benefit going whey with me.
Yeah.
But I use our soy protein because it keeps me fuller longer. So when I'm talking to someone brand new, where I say, hey, whey is going to hit your system a little bit faster, it has casein. So there's 3 basic types of protein, right? You have your whey protein that's going to hit your muscles immediately. That's going to help the recovery process, build that lean muscle mass. As you build lean muscle mass, drop the body fat. You have a casein protein, which is a slower observing protein. So it's really good to have because as you work out and your body goes in a natural repair state, you have some protein hitting it. The soy proteins are going to fill you up a little bit longer, right? So if I just drink my whey-based protein, I'm hungry pretty quickly, hour and a half, 2 hours afterwards. If I do my soy protein, it's going to fill me up, stay in my system, and do that. Now, there's like certain things I work with, like a lot of people have thyroid issues and are on medication where they can't eat. They have to wake up, take their medication, can't eat for an hour. I find that whey-based protein works better with them, just with my own customers' experience.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts on the proteins.
Okay, I was watching this the other day, and I thought there's a really interesting part here where he kind of talks about the importance of strength training or resistance training as we age, right? And then he talks about creatine, like all these other things. But I thought this was very interesting. I'd love to get your thoughts on creatine, how important it is to what you were doing and seeing. Is this, I mean, because like the way he was talking about it, everybody ought to be on it.
Yeah.
I'm Mount Rushmore of supplements. It is very clearly 3 supplements. It is creatine monohydrate.
He's talking about his top 3,
caffeine,
right?
Yep.
whey protein. The amount of research data on all 3 of those is enormous. And honestly, especially for creatine, I just can't see an argument at this point not to take it because of the cognitive benefits. There appears to be benefits on memory formation, even short term. There was a study that just came out showing like 30 plus grams of creatine at a sitting actually
that's crazy.
acutely increased memory
I
formation.
take 5 grams a
which
day.
I was very surprised by.
I do too.
Depression.
Let's all jump on the
There
train.
was a study that showed that creatine helped a little bit with symptoms of depression. Again, cognition, possibly cognitive decline. And then, of course, all the lean mass, strength benefits, performance benefits.
So I don't know. I didn't know it's
true.
Like I knew creatine is an important supplement to be taking as you are trying to gain muscle mass. I know that it's been studied forever. I know it's very, very safe. But I didn't know anything about cognitive response. I didn't know anything about any of that stuff. I didn't know everybody ought to be taking that. Of course, according to
But he mentioned
Norton.
the studies 30 grams in one sitting improve memory function. It's written on the bottle.
5
Cognitive
grams.
You
functions
take 5,
improve,
yeah.
but you take about 5. So I've never taken 30. Have you taken 30 grams, Mark?
I haven't taken 30, no, but
I've done. So we came out with a creatine. It's really good. So it's funny, like there's phases to all this nutritional stuff too. So when I was in high school, creatine was a big deal. I remember taking creatine. I was getting like jacked up. It was awesome. But then there was like, are you drinking enough water? Are you cramping? And then all these things about the kidneys, like all this stuff came out.
hair
And now,
loss and like that stuff too. Yeah.
and so now creatine's back. And so we have one. So I started taking creatine and I'm seeing like just gym benefits already.
Yeah.
My memory's awful, but I can't remember if I forget anything now. Like
You
remember
look
everything.
awesome though, man. So don't worry about it.
But so it's and I like Lane Norton. He does a lot
Yeah.
of like true scientific research and dives into the science, the research behind it. Like, is it a legit?
What?
one?
So break us or walk us through this a little bit. There's creatine monohydrate, and then there's 2 other forms, right?
Yeah,
What are the?
That's going to be a research question.
Okay, yeah. So monohydrate, I believe, is what you want to
That's the
take
old-
when you're working out. Is that
That's
right?
it's the OG.
Okay, right.
It's the one that's been around. That's what I take. I mean, I feel like a lot of people
That's
take
what I
that. That's
take
just
too.
That's what ours is.
So creatine monohydrate, let's see, is thought to be the most common creatine supplement and used to boost performance. Hydrochloride, and then what
Ethyl
is this?
ester,
buffered, creatine,
ethyl ester,
magnesium,
magnesium chelate.
I have taken liquid
all this different
creatine
stuff.
before.
Have you?
I have.
Have
It's
you
still
seen any
5
difference
grams.
in like how
No.
you perform or anything? Yeah.
One of the things that's important about creatine is it's found naturally in animal foods.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And one of the highest concentrations of creatine in food is Parmesan Reggiano cheese.
No kidding, really?
Yes, there's about 2.3 grams for every 100 grams of cheese. that
No
we eat.
kidding.
Yes.
Interesting.
I like that.
Wow.
So, which is interesting
Throw
to
that
me
cheese
because
on
creatine's a big push right now for whatever reason, and you have to ask why, right?
Right.
Because there is a lot of these things that people are telling us to get, we can get through natural foods. Now, it always help. I love supplements. Based on our American diet, there's no way you're getting all the nutritional value you need, and so supplementation does play a role. But yeah, I love.
With the real quick though, if somebody doesn't want to take Herbalife or they don't have access to it, or they have diet restrictions, how can you make your own?
Yeah,
shake?
absolutely. So it's the same
There's some
concept.
ideas out
So I like working off the principle again: breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, right, dinner. Drink half your weight in ounces of water every single day, and then we focus on our protein number. Right. So we want to focus on our protein number. The reason I help them do that because I know protein is going to fill them up longer. Also, your body has to work a little bit harder to burn that off, so you get the metabolism going. Now you increase your strength training program. You're going to build that lean muscle mass, and it's going to help. So those are like the three basic principles that I work with people, whether they're on Herbalife or not. That's what I teach them. The cool thing about it is like most people, if they're like, I don't want to take Herbalife, there's so many different ways. So I don't want to make. That's just what I've fallen in and built a business around. So it's great. But there are so many different ways. But those principles right there, anybody can maintain. Now,
because like I made like a shake. It was like oatmeal, you know, with like you can do fat-free milk, some liquid egg whites, throw some berries in there.
Yeah,
check the boxes, dump some creatine in there.
Yeah.
You know, you can make it taste good. But the biggest thing too is just tracking your macros.
that's exactly what it is.
Just track your calories.
So ultimately, like if anybody wanted to get healthy and you could figure out what your macros are, and I say it's really important for your proteins, fats, and carbs to know those three. Now, if you're like, I don't talk creatine all the time when a new customer comes. Like I want them just to start the journey and then we could tweak it as we goes, right? Because you start throwing all this information at them. There's like, I can't do this.
People gloss over. They're like, I'm never going to do this. Yeah.
And then I have some customers that as they get their journey, then we start talking about the macros because that's all it really is. Like if your goal, for instance, right now, my goals are, like I told you, like 180 to 190 grams of protein. It's like 220 carbs. And my fats, I'm keeping them at 44 grams of fat, which is really low. So I would
die. I would die.
Oh, it's so hard, especially with our diet.
You're all
Saturated fats and all of it.
And so there's diets about their saturated. It doesn't matter because all those have calories. Proteins, fats, and carbs have calories. And if you know what you need to stay under, you can get all that in at a certain level.
Well, and this is important too. You guys eat real calories, right? So when Mark says, you know, calories in, calories out, that's important and it works for you because you eat real food.
Yes.
But for the people who are measuring, say, I ate 1,000 calories of Twinkies and cereal that I bought from the center of the grocery store, that's different than if you go out there and eat a pound of ground beef at 85.15, which is also approximately 1,000 calories. Yeah. You're going to lose way more weight eating the beef than you will the Twinkies.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that too because you're just going to end up hurting your body and staying hungry if you're eating like crap. You know, just because you're counting calories doesn't mean that it's like a free for all.
Right.
You still have to have that discipline.
Who was that guy that did that whole lost weight eating McDonald's the whole
dead
time?
now.
He died,
dead,
man.
Yeah.
He just recently died.
With the supersize me guy?
Yeah, he died this past year.
But like you have to ask yourself, and this is what goes through my mind. Now, people that get healthy get sick.
Complications from cancer.
Yeah.
Turbo cancer.
So how long did he eat McDonald's for, right? And so then what did that lifestyle look like? Did it obesity and all
He
that?
got really sick.
We know he ate it for a whole year.
Yeah.
So
every day.
No, wasn't it 30 days? Was it a year or 30 days?
I don't know. I can't remember, but felt like it was like.
But did that put it like that's what I'm
felt
always
like a year.
asking myself. What are you putting in motion
felt like it
right
was a long
now
time.
that's going to affect you 10 to 15,
Well,
20
that's the
years
thing.
from now?
That stuff's kind of, and that kind of pulls us into like this whole world of like detox. Like, do you do any harsh detoxes on clients?
There's a 21-day cleanse deal I do probably once every quarter.
Okay.
I really believe, again, you can cleanse your body if you just clean up your nutrition and drink the right amount of water. Your body naturally wants it to cleanse itself.
What are your thoughts on things like enemas and foot baths and all those crazy things?
It
Like,
makes
are
you
into
feel
that?
good and makes you a better person and
Yeah.
you feel healthy. Like
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge anybody. Like my way is
sure.
not the only way. I understand that.
Right.
Like, I think there's so much on this planet that God's given us to use to live a lifestyle of health.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. We had a doctor on last time we filmed. Super interesting, awesome dude. He's like 60 something
Looks
years
great.
old. Looks like he's 40. Like just awesome guy. But he said that when you're in your 40s, which I am, I think all of us are like about that. He said you should be doing a coffee enema once a month, right? Isn't that what he said? Once a month?
Yeah, he did. He said.
think he said he does his once a week.
He does. He does his once a week.
Right. He said when you hit 50 once a week, but he said around 40 you can do it every 2 or 3 months.
What does that look like? What is that?
We don't
You don't
want to
wanna
talk
know what that
about
looks
what
like.
it looks like, but it's
As far
Let me
as
show
the
you
process.
photos. No, I'm just-
You have to lay on your side. You
yeah.
have to insert
Oh,
the
really?
Oh yeah.
enema. You
I
can't
remember-
move for an
Oh,
hour.
No, dude.
That's
You're
literally coffee. Like you're shooting coffee.
like you're shooting coffee.
Oh.
Like you're taking.
See, there's just some things that are like, okay, that might work, but I'm not doing that.
See, that's so. I'm gonna try it.
Can we film it?
Film the entire
Put it on the
thing. I'm gonna
podcast?
play. I want to do this one full unedited take of me doing.
I'm not producing. I'm not editing, producing this episode. Count me out.
So many thumbs down. It'll just like
I'm here-
drive us to the ground.
I'm here in all support, bro.
Dude, I don't know, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like this is a guy who he's a doctor. This is all that he does. This is all that he studies. Like, I feel like it's an interesting thing to just figure out. And like, I could do it, and I could be like, guys, this was the most incredible thing that I've ever done in my entire life. I feel amazing because of it. Or I could do it and be like, you know what, it was all right, but I'm never doing it again.
I'm gonna sit in my calendar, like a once a month reminder for you.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna.
No, I'm going to do it at your house.
Okay,
On the ground.
Like, so like,
Kitchen floor. What is Evan doing?
it's time for your monthly. I'm a firm believer in it, though, dude.
Yeah,
like
no, dude, I know.
I
I'm
totally
too.
believe that they're. Yeah, I
I'm
totally
too-
believe.
it's a very aggressive thing.
Yes.
Just talking about it. Now I'll say this. I've done a colonic before. I don't know if you guys have gotten
haven't
into
done that
this.
yet.
Have you?
No, but the way you pointed at me made me feel weird.
Did I wink at you accidentally?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
What about you over there, handsome?
No.
Dude, and I will tell you this. I felt absolutely amazing afterwards. Absolutely amazing.
Oh,
just
man. I
lighter,
bet.
thought better, better energy.
I bet you can lose a couple pounds right there.
Well, you do for sure.
Yeah.
But I think just clearing out all of that crap, like you just
yeah,
literally. But I think by the time you're 40s, you just have accumulated so much garbage that it's a really good idea to just start taking things out. It's not,
for sure.
certainly not the prettiest process, but
right.
yeah. And on that note,
Yeah, on that note,
I always
No,
wonder.
I'm
I always
interested.
wonder about those things, though. Is it relative? So, like, it seems very traumatic, and so do you feel great after the fact just because it's over and you're not going through it? So you think about
that's a good point.
like a cold plunge or extreme heat exposure, and you do
Sure.
it, and it sucks, and your body starts to adjust, and then you get out and you feel great because it's over.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll say this. For about the next, week or like week and a half, I felt amazing.
It was sustained.
I could definitely tell there was a difference. Now, of course, lifestyle and just work and stress and all that, like things start piling on again.
Yeah.
I did a couple of them, and man, I think they're amazing. So
Like
each
I always
his own.
think about how much more of a benefit do you get from doing something like that than just first living a week of healthy, active lifestyle,
Sure.
right? Is the benefit
Sure.
that big that it's worth putting myself, like the coffee one, right? Like that one, I'm still thinking about that one. Like that's just
That's a tough
really
one,
weird.
dude.
Like
Yeah,
is the
so that's
benefits
all you do. It might be that just might
Right.
be your fix.
right?
yeah, totally.
Instead of your,
I can like wake up on an empty stomach, drink some coffee, and go for a 2-mile hard paced run, and like I'm cleaning myself out, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just how much that benefit versus
Well, there's something I remember asking him about that. There's something about the way that the coffee affects the
Stimulates
liver,
yeah.
right? Yeah, there's a way that it really
dumps all the
starts
toxins.
cleaning out
Yeah.
stuff within the liver. So I think that's like the component there.
we may have to try this. I might try it with you, dude. One time.
We'll do it
But
together.
but here's the thing. I still didn't get to the
Sounds like
Counter
that.
Cause part 2.
I still didn't get to the point of why putting it up your rectum versus drinking.
Yes.
Why it's so different.
Yeah.
It wasn't like,
Maybe he's
hey,
messing with us.
it's a shorter route, direct
Yo,
access to your
can we just do a
liver.
cup
wanna
of
come
coffee
off
instead?
this?
He's like, yeah, it's fine.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, you can, but this is way more interesting.
That episode is out now, so go ahead and
Check it
that
out. Dr. John Ganino. Really interesting guy
Awesome,
for
awesome,
sure.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, dude. Good show.
I'm going to listen to that one next.
Yeah, man. Josh, I wanted to ask you one last thing about your protocol with the clients. Do you do anything just in terms of like intermittent fasting with that at all?
I don't push it.
Okay.
So I usually stop eating about 6:30. And so then I finish my workout at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
And typically that's my fasting from different things. I'm not saying there's some benefits to it, obviously.
Yeah.
And so
I was going to ask, is there benefits only in terms of weight loss, or are you actually seeing like sort of health?
I think I feel healthier. I feel less bloated. I feel more energy. But everything I read, it doesn't matter when you do it.
Yeah, right. It's like the window, right?
Why, again, if the benefit of doing it during the day is very minimum versus me doing it while I sleep, I'm going to do it while I sleep so I don't starve during the day.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of my theory on it. Everyone, again, there's people that do it for all during the day and they do great and they love it and they swear by it. And you know what? If they're living a healthy, active lifestyle and they're happy and everything's going well, good for them.
That's a good answer. Yeah. Cool.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse or Bible story that you always reference for encouragement?
Okay, so for encouragement, 2 Corinthians 12:9 is a big one for me, and it's just Paul, like he's just in this point of weakness, and he says, "Therefore I boast." He asked God, pull it up, as I just forgot my favorite Bible verse.
That's all right.
My grace, he says, he goes, but he said to me, so Paul goes, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in your weakness. And so Paul then goes on and said, therefore I would boast all more in my weakness that his power may rest in me. Wow. And it was a verse that came to me about 12 years ago. I was just in this place. It was right before my health journey, right? So I couldn't lose the weight. I just got done running a half marathon. I was frustrated. I had no energy, no joints at that time. My marriage was like, couldn't figure this thing out. My career at that time in corporate America was like, I don't want to go get the next promotion because I'll be on the road like 3-4 days a week. And what I'm seeing from my executives is not the lifestyle I want. Yeah. And so it's just on this weird spot. I felt like the life was just kind of collapsing around me. And I've read that verse, I don't know how many times. I grew up in the church, and for whatever reason, that verse spoke really loud to me that morning. Yeah. And just like, you know what, God, it's not me anymore. Like I want to surrender more, regardless of what's going on in my life, and just rest in your power. Man, I love so that's been one. Mm. Another big one was in college, Job 19:25-27. And Job, the story of Job, he kind of loses everything and he's going through his time. And he says, as for me, my Redeemer lives. And at the last, he will take a stand on the earth. And even after my skin is destroyed, yet from my flesh, I shall see God, who I myself behold, and my heart faints within me. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think just as I'm relating it back to health and journey, like it's a journey. Yeah. Right. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have sometimes the closest people that are supposed to love and encourage you, tell you, what are you doing? You're going to have every opportunity to fall on your face, and you're going to have every opportunity to get back up. Yeah. And I think those two verses just really like, hey, let's embrace it. Yeah. Let's rely on something stronger than yourself and understand there's a bigger purpose at play. Yeah. And so become the best version of yourself. Yeah. And my faith plays a lot in my coaching. And so when I get to that point with my relationship with my customers, I tell them, I said, look, there's no possible way you're living out the life that God designed for you when you're carrying 50 to 60 pounds. He says, go make disciples, and you can't walk 10 feet down the road. Like, you tell me what's you obviously you carry more weight, your clarity, your thinking, all that stuff isn't top form, right? You're tired all the time. And so God calls us to be stewards of our body. And so then that's one of my favorite parts about what I do, is it allows us to build those relationships, to have those conversations. Yeah.
Amen. That's awesome, man. Dude. Yeah. And I love what you do too. You guys have to check him out on his Instagram, but you do the Bible workout. What is it? Tell me about that.
I have this vision. It's called Garage Church Fitness. And so
cool.
Last Thanksgiving, I invited guys in the neighborhood to come work out, 45-minute workout on Thanksgiving morning. So Thanksgiving mornings were one of my favorite workouts because for a long time I was practicing on Thanksgiving morning. And it was just like something different about that morning, the cool air, just with your guys on the team, sweating it out, and then go and have a Thanksgiving dinner, right? And just being thankful. And so even after I've done playing, I always work out on Thanksgiving morning. And so I invited some guys to my house last Thanksgiving, we had about 11 guys show up in the neighborhood for an outreach. And so we had some guys that, are believers. We had an atheist there. We had some friends show up, and then we just had a solid 45-minute workout and then a 45-minute Bible study. So
That's super cool.
that's kind of grown in. I've done a couple more of those workouts on Saturdays at my house. Sometimes during the week, and sometimes it's just like a workout and a prayer. And now there's 2 guys I work out with right now, and it's just a really good time for us to fellowship. There's a lot of people that won't go to church, but they'll go to a workout.
Yeah, sure.
And something happens when you break down your body with another individual. It opens up the heart and opens up the mind. And so it's been a lot of fun.
That's
so I do
great,
that.
man.
Yeah.
That's super
That's
cool,
great.
man.
Keep doing that, brother.
Yeah. Thank you.
How can people find you?
You go to Joshua_D_Rangel. Hold on. Let me double check that.
We'll put it in the
Yeah,
description.
put it in the description. Like Joshua Rangel, Instagram.
Your
I don't know.
self-promotion's on
TikTok.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can go to
right.
my TikTok page. I started that. That's been pretty cool.
You're on the talk?
The talk. No, oh, yeah.
go.
Josh_D_Rangel. And then on TikTok, it is just Josh_D_Rangel.
Are you taking on clients right now?
I am always taking on clients.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Online, remotely. I'm actually going to a lot more online
Okay.
base kind of curriculum type stuff. It's just funner for me. I enjoy it. I love my flexibility, but also allows me to kind of focus on what God's got me on the next steps.
That's
So,
awesome, man.
Love that, man.
We'll put all the info in the description.
Yep.
thanks.
Check out Josh, guys. If you guys thought this was interesting, please like and subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out. Tell a friend, and we will be back next time. Thank you, guys. See you later.
Thanks, man.
That's a cut.